Hey champion guitar players, in this video you learn 5 super cool sweep picking licks using the pentatonic scale. Normally when we think about sweep picking we think about arpeggios, or at least major and minor scales and their modes. It's not very common to see players sweep picking when they're in the minor pentatonic box patterns. Now this always seems strange to me. I mean, why not use sweep picking with pentatonic scales too? It sounds super cool and quite different from the usual ways that sweep picking arpeggios are typically used. Hi, I'm Tom Hess, and today I want to teach you 5 pentatonic sweep picked licks. They sound great, are not very difficult to learn, and make for very good sweep picking and pentatonic scale exercises to help you build your lead guitar technique. So grab your guitar and let's have some fun. Right, so for our first example, we're going to be in the D minor pentatonic box here. So it's the minor pentatonic scale starting on fret number 10. And we're going to be playing the top 2 strings of that scale. So it's just these 4 notes. Now what's important to notice here is the picking pattern. We're not using alternate picking here. We're using sweep picking. So it starts with a downstroke, right, for the first note. And then we've got upstroke, and then upstroke again for the third note, and then a downstroke for note number 4. So altogether we've got down, up, down. Okay, so that's the pattern. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. And when you repeat it, those 2 downstrokes, the first one and the last one, will be played next to each other. Okay, so what I'm going to suggest to do is practice it just with the picking first. Take the left hand out of it, just cover the strings, and try it that way. And you want this, you want it to be a true sweep. So when you're doing the 2 upstrokes in a row, it's not really up and then up again. It's really one big motion. So we're just pulling the hand back and then pushing it forward for the 2 downstrokes. So altogether, it's going to sound like that. Okay, so it sounds really cool. It's pretty easy to build up the speed because the picking hand is now so efficient that the only challenge you're going to have is getting the fretting hand to keep up with the ease that the picking hand has to slice through those strings. Basically, it's just doing this. And how fast can you do that? You can do it really fast, right? So now it's just a matter of getting the left hand and the right hand to synchronize together. Example 2 is just a modified version of example 1. So example 1, we had this. Example 2, now the highest note, the 13th fret, is going to come up here to the 15th fret. Now, our third finger, this one, is going to take over playing the 13th fret of the 2nd string. So it's 4th finger on the first note, 1st finger on the next note, 3rd finger on the 3rd note, and 1st finger again on the last note. The picking pattern stays the same. Down, up, down. And that repeats, right? So it's a little bit of a stretch. Now, if you have your thumb up here, it's going to be hard. If you try and play like this, it's going to be hard to play this, okay? That stretch is going to be difficult. So if you have your thumb, your hand, like a letter C, okay? Just make a letter C. Don't move your hand. Just twist your arm, okay? My thumb is about behind fret 12, maybe fret 11. And now this finger stretches a little bit farther this way, this finger this way, and it's pretty easy. Okay, I'm not having to stretch my fingers really far. It's just how I position my thumb. I'm not doing this. Don't do that. It's going to make everything harder. Okay, So again, my hand looks like this. Okay? And now that makes that stretch pretty easy to do without any strain. All right, now before we go further into the next examples, which are a little bit more challenging than what we've had so far, if you're looking for some easier pentatonic licks that are not necessarily sweep picking, but they're easy pentatonic licks to play, check out my other video on YouTube called 7 Pentatonic Guitar Licks Everyone Should Know. All right, so our third example is a variation off of the previous one, but now we're going to have our sweep picking with some legato here. So we've got an upstroke here, then we have a pull off, then an upstroke here, then a downstroke here, then a hammer on, then a downstroke. So it's like this. So even though there's a pull-off and a hammer-on in the lick, it's still sweep picking. Why is it still sweep picking? Because our hand is still going one continuous motion this way as we're doing the upstroke, and one continuous motion that way. Okay, so the picking hand has to slow down a little bit as the pull-off is occurring from here to here, but it doesn't stop. That's the key. We don't want this hand to stop. So when I play it, just ignore everything else. Just watch the center of mass. Watch my hand and notice it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop moving. It has to speed up and slow down a little bit to change direction and wait for the hammer on or the pull off, but it's in constant motion. Okay? If the hand is not in constant motion, you're not sweeping. You're doing something else. All right, for this next example, we've got a series of 3-string arpeggios, no hammer-ons, no pull-offs. Let's take a look at the first measure. Now, you can see I'm starting with my third finger on the 12th fret of the third string. Then I'm using my first finger for strings 2 and string 1, and they're on the same fret. But you probably saw, and I hope you at least heard, that I'm not barring my first finger. I'm not doing this. That's called playing a chord. Okay, we're looking to play an arpeggio where the notes are separated. Okay, so we don't want this. I mean, if you like that sound, cool, then do what you want. But if you want the notes separated, then we've got to separate them. Now, the main trick here is how do we separate two notes on two different strings played with the same finger and not have them sound like this? Well, here's what you do. When you go from string 3 to string 2, okay, you play string 2 like you normally would play a note on string 2. You don't bar your finger or flatten it out. Just use the tip of the finger like normal. Now, when you want to go from string 2 to string 1, all you do is you collapse this first knuckle here. This knuckle collapses like this, okay? So the finger straightens out like this. How does it straighten out? You take your hand and you pull it back. Watch. Here's my hand. I'm on string 2. My finger's arched like this, okay? So I want my finger to go from arched to being like this. So the way I do that, I don't do anything with the finger. I do it with the hand. I take the hand and I pull it back, okay? So watch the hand from here to here, okay? The finger doesn't move on its own. I'm not doing anything with the finger. The finger is stationary, but and it's on string 2 here. So when you pull the hand back, look what happens. The finger straightens out. When the fingers straighten out, this fingertip was playing string 2. Now that you pull the hand back, the finger is straight. String 1 is played right here from this part of the finger, okay? So watch. Playing with the tip of the finger, pull the hand back. Now the tip of the finger just released string 2. It's not holding down string 2 anymore. It's touching string 2. It's touching it. But it's muting it, and that's exactly what we want. And then string 1 is played right here on this part of the finger. That's where string 2 is played here. String 1 is played here. Okay? You rock the hand back. See what I'm doing? Watch this. Rock the hand back. The finger straightens out. This knuckle collapses. And now you've got string 1 being played with this part of the finger. The tip of the finger is touching string 2, but it's not fretting string 2 anymore. It's simply muting it so that we don't hear that string. And that's what separates the notes. Notice we don't have this. Not good. Not good. Okay? Okay? So you can play this at pretty high speed because we're just simply rocking the hand back. Right? If you can just do this, you're just basically doing this. Okay, you can get the speed pretty quick. It's pretty easy too. Okay, the only thing you've got to do is just synchronize the two hands. It's about timing the sweep with the arcing or the rolling of the fretting hand fingers, or the fretting hand. Okay, that's all it really is. Now, take a look at the second measure. We got the same thing. Same idea, except I'm using finger 2 here and finger 1 here. Okay? Then we go to the third measure. Okay? We got this. That's the same as the first measure, just moved up higher. Okay, and then in the fourth measure, we have this. So now we don't have that roll at all. It's one finger per fret. So you see how this works. So whenever you've got to roll the finger over, concentrate on the center of mass, the hand, okay, just pulling back under the guitar neck. And that's what rolls the finger over. Now before we go on, I've got another video on YouTube that has some really super fast 2-string arpeggios, and it's based upon the idea that we just did in the previous example. So if you like that last example, you might want to check out my other video on YouTube called Sweep Picking Tutorial, Fast 2-String Arpeggios. All right, so our next example is based on fast 2-string arpeggios within the pentatonic scale. I'm just going through different boxes here, and it sounds like this. A little faster now. And it sounds really cool. It sounds cool, fast or medium or slow. It's very cool. It helps you to visualize the minor scale boxes as you're sweeping through them. The main thing here is to work on getting the separation between notes so we don't have this. Not good. That's better. That's the sound we're looking for. Now, if you want to build and develop lightning fast picking speed on the guitar, I show you how in my new free guide titled How to Build Lightning Fast Guitar Picking Speed. It's totally free. Click on the link below to download your copy so that you can develop your own incredible picking speed. Even if you've struggled to do so in the past and don't have a lot of time to practice, this will help you a lot.